Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Welcome to my channel. As welcome to my regular viewers. Welcome to all my subscribers. Welcome to my members. And if you're new to this channel, well, you don't have to be crazy to be here, but it helps. Okay. Just want to tell you what I've just found outside when I was having a shower earlier, because I've got an outside shower in the summer. I mean, it's enclosed, but it's outside. I found a little white feather. So I thought, oh, thank God for that, because you know all this paranormal, the paranormal stuff I was doing. I'm not doing any more paranormal for a little while. I'm going to have a break from that because it just everything went wrong. But then I found a little white feather. So I feel like I'm okay now. I feel like I'm, any badness that was around or whatever, because when you find a white feather, that's a message, isn't it, from someone who loves you from the other side. So I haven't found one for ages, and it was just literally there would not be a white feather. There it is just no reason why there'd be a white feather outside on my back patio. But anyway. So that's the first thing I wanted to tell you about. So that was sweet. I've got a few things that I want to tell you about tonight. So first thing I want to do is welcome Brenda Mills, who is a new member. I don't know if she's here tonight, and she joined. It won't come. Sometime if you join in a live chat, it comes up on the actual in the chat, during the chat, but she joined in between chats, if you like, so it won't come up on here. But what we have to do, we have to welcome her. It's Brenda Mills, a new member, and we're going to say to her, of course, Brenda, welcome to the family. Welcome to the family, the crazy family that is Vicky Marie Chat's channel. But no, it's not a crazy family. It's a lovely family. So welcome. Okay, that's the first thing I wanted to do. Well, the first thing I did was the white feather. Then also I want to send out some healing love to a couple of my members who've been poorly. Christina Katz, who might be watching tonight. I'm not sure if she's watching tonight from hospital or not. Hopefully she is. Anyway, so Christina Cat, we're sending out some healing love to her, and also to Saskia, who might come on here, might come on live, but she's been a little bit poorly as well. So we're sending out some love, hugs, some healing, some prayers and that to Christina Katz and Saskia. The next thing I wanted to do is thank everybody, obviously, for watching, subscribing, liking, sharing. Anyone who's become a member, anyone who's sent me a super, anyone who has bought me a Ko-fi, and Eleanor bought me a big Ko-fi. Thank you, Eleanor. It's an Irish Ko-fi, I think, that one. So thank you ever so much for that, because I really appreciate anyone who supports my channel in any way, whether it's just watching, subscribing, liking, sharing, or if you go that little bit further and you become a member, or you send a super, or buy a Ko-fi, or whatever. I really appreciate every bit of support. It honestly does mean the world to me. Okay, so let's see who's here. Let's have a say hello to everybody. Of course, when I do my I didn't do my books. I'll do them later. I'm supposed to do my housekeeping, but I don't know if I want to. Hi, Wendy. Haven't heard of this one before. Oh my God. I mean, we haven't heard much about this one because of the language thing. Anyway, well, I'll explain it when I come to it. Hi, David. Hi, Chumba. Yes, Chumba, you will love this. There's a lot of masks involved in this one. I know you like a mask. Hi, Rose Petal. Hi, Jackie. So Jackie's had a mad week for her birthday, had a good birthday week. Hi, Princess. Is your son okay now? Because wasn't his car stolen? You know, last night, was it last night? That paranormal night last night where everything went wrong and I couldn't get the orbs video uploaded. God, my head was scrambled by the time I'd finished because I was, it was really late by the time I'd finished and I'd had much more than my normal quota of wine because it'd gone on for so long. So I hope your son's okay now. Gyro, yeah, gyro. You've got your gyro, David, yeah. It's all in the bank now, I presume, isn't it? I used to work at the Department of Health and Social Security. That was my first sort of proper job, I suppose. I was a civil servant. It was so boring. It was so boring. It was a horrible job, actually. But it was a job for life, according to my dad. He went mad when I left there because, he thought, oh, my God, job for life. And he was right. I'd probably be retired now and have a pension. But, what would have happened to me in the meantime? I would have curled up and died with boredom. Okay, Daisy May. Hi, Daisy May. Just go down there because a lot of you have been chatting to each other. David's cheeky. Did the candles melt the cake? That was like my birthday. I couldn't even fit the candles on my cake. Daisy, the old lady killer. Oh, I tell you, this is it's especially awful because these victims were very vulnerable. Anyway, we'll go into that when we get to it. Rio, hi Rio. How are you? Are you recovering now? Are you still looking after all the dogs or are you back home now? Wendy Woo. Vicky, DMV Vicky, hiya. Louisa, hi. Gosh, you've caught a couple of lives lately. So Wendy's had some white feathers in her garden. Yeah. It's unusual to see white feathers. I had one on my stairs. I'd been talking about a friend of mine, who isn't any longer with us, and I found a white feather on my stairs. And then once I was walking in the campo, and funnily enough, it was the same lady she'd only just passed, and she was very spiritual. She's the lady that actually exorcised my house after the incident that I talked about. And I was walking in the campo, which is like the countryside with the dogs. And there was just one white feather just on the floor in front of me. I've never, I've been walking in that campo for years. And I mean years, 20 odd years, I've never seen a white feather. But anyway, so I think it was her, Irene, her name. She was a fantastic woman. Well, she'll still be a fantastic woman. She'll be sorting everybody out up there. Got distracted, didn't I? Hi, 411. Oh, yeah, get well soon. Saskia, hi, Rio. Tina. We're all trying to... Hi, serotonin. Gosh. Ooh. Yeah, let's send our love out to Saskia and Christina Katz. So the police have the car now, do they? You're just decompressing, Rio. Yeah, I know the feeling. I have decompressed a lot today, though. I have relaxed today. I've been watching The Equalizer with Denzel Washington. And then I've been watching this Manhunt, with JL. I always want to call him JLS Investigates, but I think it's JLR. But anyway, I've been watching that. Hi, Heather. Is it still humid there in the UK? Is it still hot? It's not been too bad here today. Serotonin. Look, you'll get used to David. He likes to take the piss out of people. I think toning. That's a very sort of positive word, isn't it? Oh, Daisy. Hi, Maggie. Your son's not well today. What? Oh, yeah. Let's send some healing vibes out as well to Luke, Daisy's son, because he needs some healing vibes. It's at least we can send out some good vibes to people, can't we? And let's hope that it makes a difference. Janet's sneakily watching while she's at work. Hi, Janet. Rio's back home. That's good. So you had lightning last night. Desi. Hi, Desi. I know in the end you forget who you've said hello to and who you haven't. So I would rather say hello more than once than forget to say it. But sometimes I may forget to say it. But that'll just be because it's gone past. You're inundated, Rio. Oh. Vicky. Oh, it was your birthday yesterday. Of course it was. Yeah, I remember you saying it was your birthday coming up at the weekend. Happy birthday in retrospect. Hi, Stuart. Yes, did you see, Stuart? The white feather. It's a positive sign. We're going to be positive tonight. Oh, Maggie, did your goblet arrived? Maggie's drinking out of a goblet. I'm drinking out of a glass because I'm on these calamuchos still, so I need a longer thing, but I do love those goblets. And in the winter, they're even better. In the summer, they're quite cold like that, so that's good if you're putting a cold drink in it. But in the winter, they're nice. Gosh, I can't get to the bottom of this. Oh, you've seen white feathers everywhere, Rio. Yeah. Well, do you know, I haven't seen one for a long time. And anyway, there it is. David, Janet, Stuart, yeah. Wendy's got a hangover. No sympathy, Wendy. Won't catch me with a hangover. Actually, to be honest, I never get a hangover because I just don't drink enough now. I used to years ago, but, I like a drink, but I'll have I never really get drunk. It's hard to explain because then I'll drink and then I'll have something to eat and then I go to bed. So it's like, oh, yeah, big hugs to Luke. Oh, so it's raining there, David? Stuart, nothing from the spare bedroom. Lisa, hi Lisa from Australia. I should turn upside down to say hello to Lisa. Oh, Stuart, sorry you didn't sleep well. Yes, they are quite a lot. Maggie, you will inadvertently drink more wine, but never mind. Oh gosh, a lot of us have had white feathers today. So 411's had a white feather too. Oh gosh, I think I finally got to the end of saying hello to everybody. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're all here. So yeah, again, thank you to everyone. And even, as you know, even my trolley dollies, and there'll be some of you out watching there, like, watch. I don't know why you'll be watching, but there will be some of you out there that will be watching, like, just to be, I don't know, just why do you watch? But anyway, so thank you, trolley dollies, even you, all of you that contribute towards my channel. Which reminds me, don't forget to press like. So, because I will forget now after that to ask you to press like again, probably. Okay, because I actually can't see at the moment how many. Oh, Saskia, hello, hi. I don't know because I check my emails in the morning. So in the morning, I will see if I've got it. I'm sure it will have arrived. I'm sure it will have arrived. There's no reason why it shouldn't. But I check them in the mornings always when I get up. That's the first thing I do. Okay, so, right, was there anything else before I start? No, so I've mentioned everything I wanted to talk about before I started. And now we are going to talk about this well, I normally do sing happy birthday in Spanish to people if it's their birthday. So go on then. I'm going to sing happy birthday to Vicky. Cumpleaños feliz, cumpleaños feliz, te deseamos todos, cumpleaños feliz. Gosh, you must, why you would want me to sing, I have no idea, because it's not exactly a pleasant experience, is it? But happy birthday for yesterday anyway, Vicky. And many more. Okay, so, oh, don't say that. Hi, Neil. Oh, I know. Look, stop distracting me. Stop distracting me. I've got to talk about this awful woman. Now, this is, I mean, it really is something different, this. I mean, you know, when you think of serial killers, not only that you rarely think of a woman, but this woman, oh my God, it's just, to me, it's something I just can't get my head around. Anyway, first of all, let's just start by having a look at some photos of her. And Chumba, these are the photos you'll like because you'll see a mask. Right, let's find her. This is the woman we're talking about. Oh, let me just get my notes. So her name is Juana Barraza. This is her in the red coat here. And this is her in the mask, Chumba. Because she was she said she was a wrestler. She used to dress as a wrestler. And in Mexico, which is where she's from, they call it lucha libre. Wrestling is called, which literally means free fight. And it's very popular. It's very popular, but they wear masks in the ring. But although there's all these photos of her as a wrestler, I mean, look how terrifying she is. You know, she was a tall woman. So you can see from her mugshot here, you know, she wasn't that far. She was 1.8 meters or something. Very tall woman. And the reason that they call her the Lady of Silence, or the Spanish version is La Dama del Silencio, is that was her wrestling name. La Dama del Silencio, the Lady of Silence. But there's actually no evidence that she ever had a fight. She used to dress up like this and she would associate with wrestlers. But it's a bit sort of called into question whether she ever actually had a wrestling fight. But anyway, she liked to say she was. Now, what you will find a documentary about her on Netflix, which I've watched. I mean, it's in Spanish, but you can put your subtitles on and watch it. It's really interesting. I mean, I think the other reason that it's interesting is seeing the way that people are treated differently in Mexico, like serial killers or prisoners in general, than how they're treated. How the whole process, the whole legal process of catching a killer and the judicial sort of system is so different than in the UK. You know, it's like, it reminds me a bit of Spain. It's very similar to Spain. It's like, it's hard to explain that. You know, I know we moan about our police and we moan about our judicial systems and that, but they are better than, I think certainly that, because in Spain you will wait forever for a court case. You know, it's just like there's no rush for anything. And, you know, if you sat and watched a court case in Spain, I think it would take you by surprise. And it seems from what I've seen of this that Mexico is exactly the same. Probably the Spanish influence. Anyway, this was her. This picture, just let me check that you can see these. Yes, you can. The picture of her in the red coat where she's covering her face, that was the day that she was apprehended. That was the actual day that she was arrested. This is her in prison. This obviously with the wrestling thing. I don't know if that's her or not. Let's have a look. Is that her? Oh, that's a trailer for the film. Not the, it's a documentary that's on Netflix. Here she, this, who is that? Almond, I don't know who that is. Okay, so this is her, this lady. I think this might be here with her with her mother. But anyway, the police, when they caught her, let me tell you a little bit about Juana Barraza. So she was born on the 27th of December, 1957. So that makes her, she's about 66, 67. And as I say, Dama del Silencio, that was her nickname, the Lady of Silence, that was her nickname as a wrestler. But the sort of, if you like, the nickname that's been given her as a serial killer is the old lady, the little old lady killer. In Spanish, it's the Mata Viejitas. Mata Viejitas. And she killed old ladies. I mean, I just think this is obviously being a serial killer is never a good thing. There's nothing good about killing anyone. But when you kill the most vulnerable people in society, children or old people, some of her victims were in their 80s. They were all over 60. Because, of course, when you get over 60, people start calling you elderly then, don't they? It's like, what? But, that is just the fact. That is just you come into that band where you pass middle age and now you're elderly. And all her victims were over 60. And she strangled them or bludgeoned them to death. I mean, it's just foul. These were literally little old ladies, grandmas, great grandmas. It was a huge thing in Mexico. I think the reason why we haven't really heard of it in sort of Britain and that is the language thing. If she would have been American, or if she would have been British or any other nationality that spoke the same language as us, this would have been all over the telly at the time that it happened. I mean, it was probably mentioned, but not like the Gilgo Beach killer has been mentioned and talked about. The Long Island Beach killer, the Rex. I can never say his second name, Rex Husenhauer or whatever. So she, and this, as I say, this is the actual day she was caught. When she's wearing this red jacket, that was the day she was caught. Very, she looks very forbidding. She is, massive. She's nearly 2 meters. Now this picture, I wonder if I can get this picture here. This doll or mold, if you like, this was a mold that had been made and put out as, a like what this killer looked like, because they looked for her for quite a long time. So let's just see. So this went between 1998 and 2005. So 7 years she was operating in the same neighborhood, very small neighborhood. So it was amazing, really, that she didn't get caught before that. But part of the reason that she didn't get caught before that was because the police did sort of mess up. Oh, how strange, but they did, because they were convinced it was a man dressed as a woman. So a couple of times she'd been seen coming out of the homes of these people, or people had said that there was this. It was terrible, actually, because the police were convinced it was a man because it was a serial killer, because of the strength that would be involved in the strangulation. Though really, these were little old ladies she was killing. It wouldn't have taken much strength, to be honest. And there's something I want to warn you. If you Google it, Mexico, what I found today to my cost, because it wasn't very nice, is the Mexican, I don't know, they're not shy about showing the bodies and things like that, you know, and you find that in Spain on the telly. You'd be surprised what you see on the TV. You know, like in Britain, you would never see, you know, it'd be blurred out. If you did see anything, it would be like, not in Mexico. So all these poor old ladies, and I think it's foul, actually. They should not be there on the internet for anybody to look at, these dead women. You know, it's like disgusting. If I was their family, I'd be going mad that my mum or my grandma or my great grandma was like so publicly exposed like that. I mean, it's just terrible. But anyway, yeah, so be careful. If you do Google, you might come across some horrible images. Anyway, she was convicted of 16 murders, but she is probably guilty of 48. So there's only 16 that she was actually convicted for, but they reckon that it was probably around 48 little old ladies that she killed. And she was sentenced to 759 years in prison. So that's a pretty good sentence. Having said that, the maximum amount of years you can spend in a Mexican jail is 60. But as she was already, when was she actually apprehended? Yeah, 2005. So how old would she be? Oh God, you know what I'm like with maths. 60, so 57, 60, 45, 48. So she was probably 48 then when she was caught. So she'll only serve 60 years because that's the maximum. So she's going to be 108 before she's out. So she's not likely to get out, is she? Gosh, here she is in the mask again. There you go, Chumba. Do you want one of them masks? God, what, you know. And you can see from the men that she stood next to here on this picture, she's tall. You know, like she's tall, she's big. Now, this lady, I just wanted to say a little bit about this lady, Araceli Vasquez. They thought it was her. She was actually imprisoned for these murders, and I think she's still in prison because she was a criminal. You know, she was a thief. She'd been prosecuted for theft, and anyway, they roped her in for these murders. And as far as I know, I think she's still in prison, but she's trying to get out, obviously. But this lady who was the murderer, Juana Barraza. Now, the motive was money. So and do you know what was really awful? What she did, because these old ladies, they were poor. They lived in a poor neighbor. You know, they had no money. That's why they let her in, because she came knocking on the door saying she was from the social services and they could apply for, like, you know, vouchers or whatever, you know, food stamps or whatever, those sort of kind of things. And so the old ladies would let her in because they thought, you know, she was going to help them financially, and then she would strangle them, bludgeon them, whatever, and steal their purses, etc. So, you know, that's even worse to me, because she was preying on not only vulnerable little old ladies, but preying on the fact that they were poor. You know, they were poor and they had no money, and they'd see this woman go, oh gosh, she's going to help me. She's going to give me some money. She's going to help me with, you know, they were struggling to survive. And this bitch comes in and goes in there and strangles them from behind, most of them. Fucking coward as well. So anyway, but don't get me going. Now I'm getting angry. I don't want to get angry. Now, let me just go back to chat and just make sure you're all right. I think you're all right. Yeah. Good. Okay. Now, we have to have a little bit of sympathy, I suppose, with Juana. She didn't have a very nice, well, say she didn't have a nice childhood. It's what she says, with nobody else to corroborate it. But she was born in Mexico, and she says her mother was an alcoholic who allegedly exchanged her for 3 cans of beer. Sold her for 3 cans of beer. And this apparently is why she hated old ladies. This is the reason she finally gave them. And she hasn't admitted to all the murders, but she's admitted to a couple of them. So she says that her mum was an alcoholic who allegedly exchanged her for beer with a man who then abused her when she was young. And she had a son to him eventually. Now, we don't know if that's true because the mum is no longer with us to, stand up for herself or not. Maybe it is true. And if it is true, that must have been awful. But I don't think that's a reason to go off and strangle 48 old ladies, is it? Who never did you any harm and who was completely vulnerable. She's got them eyes as well, like you look in the eyes. Look, she's got one eye weirder than the other. I think, yeah, she's a weirdo. She looks cold to me. Anyway, she was diagnosed as, a psychiatrist said she was a psychopath. Anyway, so all the victims were over 60. They were bludgeoned, strangled and robbed. Now, something that's interesting is 3 of a funny sort of coincidence that happened. Now, I might have to get that up on here. Hang on. Three of her victims had a particular painting in their house. That's quite a coincidence, isn't it? And this painting was called Boy in a Red Waistcoat. So I'm just going to get that up on here. This is just a funny little aside, if you like, to the case. That always sort of, I always like little details. They always intrigue me. Let's see if I get it up. Let's just make sure you can say that. See that? No, you can't. No, hang on. Yeah, so 3 of her unfortunate victims had this painting up in their house. So, you know that can start lots of sort of urban legends, can't it? Now, and when I read about that, it sort of intrigued me because do you remember, I don't know, maybe it was like a council estate myth. When I was young, there was a picture of a Chinese lady that seemed to be all this in Mexico. Maybe this picture was just all the rage, so that's why 3 of her victims had the same picture, not some Twilight Zone coincidence. But I don't know if any of you remember the Chinese lady. And then they started up this sort of urban legend that it was bad luck because there were a lot of fires in houses that had this same picture of this Chinese lady in it. I don't know if anybody remembers that, or is it just me? Does anyone remember the Chinese lady that was supposed to be bad luck to put up in your house because your house would burn down if you put the picture of the Chinese lady up? Anyway, oh yes, please press like. Thank you, Jackie. Oh, have I missed some people coming in? Janie. Oh, Janie, a new member. Let me just put that up so you know what we have to do. So we're going to welcome Janie. Thank you so much, Janie. Oh, I've got to change it. How do I do that? God, you think I'd be able to do it a bit quicker by now? Have I even done it? Welcome to the family, Janie. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. They're a crazy family. Oops. Okay, let me go back. Hi, Eleanor. No, I haven't done the 10 reel into that. That's quite a long time ago, but you know, it's interesting. All these cases are interesting. Hi, Carla Parker. Sorry, I'm just going back up, just make sure I didn't miss anyone. If I did miss anyone, I'm sorry, because I was talking about the story. Yeah, she's a little bit butchy, but she's not though. You'll find something out about her soon. So Chumba's saying, yes, please, Vicky. Yes, please, what? Oh, and I sang... Chumba, yeah, Jennifer, she's the one with the new... She was occupied with a new bird. Sun's gone to our head. Right, I can't keep going back up the chat because I'm going too far up now. But thank you, Janie, for becoming a member. And I hope I haven't missed anybody. Yes. Oh, was it the crying boy? Yeah, I was thinking it was the Chinese one, but it was the crying boy picture. Yeah, but the Chinese woman was another one. I think it was the two of them that were both supposed to bring bad luck, weren't they? And yeah, but everybody had it because why? I mean, I don't know how it all started. Where would you even buy those pictures? I don't know where you bought pictures like that now. Here in Spain now, we have a lot of Chinese shops, and that's where you go and buy a load of crap. If you want to buy some crap, they're really sort of, notorious for selling low quality things. But I don't know where... I don't think we didn't have it up in our house. My mum was a very superstitious person. She would never have had it up in the house. Once anybody said it was bad luck, that'd be it. Yes, Dr. Christie Chumba. So he was like the Dr. Shipman of his day, wasn't he? And of course, unfortunately, somebody got hung by mistake, didn't they? Who they thought was the killer, Timothy Evans. So yeah, maybe I will do that case. It's an old case, but it's still relevant. All these cases are relevant. Those were the days when people trusted doctors implicitly. That's the thing. I think Dr. Shipman stopped that forever, to be honest. Right, so let me go back to where I was, and of course I've forgotten where I was now. Yeah, so the police were criticised because they were looking for a man. They just could not believe it was a woman. And the other thing that the police did was they raided or arrested and interviewed all the transvestite prostitutes because they thought it must be a man dressed as a woman. So they went off on a completely wrong tack. They just... anyway, so that they think that's why it took so long to catch them. And anyway, the police did not catch her. They were circulating the area. I mean, it was a very, very small area. If you watch the documentary on Netflix, I definitely recommend you to watch it, obviously with the subtitles, because it is in Spanish. But it's interesting because it actually shows the area, and it was such a small area. How they missed her. They probably went past her a million times, but she would change her appearance. She would dye her hair blonde or wear different clothes, dress as a nurse, etc. So all the reports were this masculine person, and so they were just presuming it was a man. Anyway, finally. Oh, Eleanor, you've frozen out again. What do you mean? What you can't... I don't understand what you mean by frozen out. Do you mean your computer's freezing or your phone's freezing? Oh, Eleanor. Anyway, okay, so the breakthrough finally came on the 25th of January in 2006. So it's not that long ago, really, is it, when you think about it? I don't remember seeing anything on the news. Yeah. So, see, look, I'm getting distracted now and looking at it was John Hurt played Timothy Evans, and it was Attenborough, wasn't it? It was not David Attenborough, the other one, Richard Attenborough, who played thingy. Anyway, so finally on 25th of January 2006, this horrible woman had been to visit Ana Maria de los Reyes Alfaro. That was the name of the poor little old lady who was 82 years old. And her neighbour, who was very close to it, he was a neighbour, this guy, but you see him being interviewed on the documentary, and he's really, even now, he's crying because he was always looking on her. And see, in Mexico, like in Spain, grandmas, just mothers in general, old people in general, are really respected. So this case, it was a shockwave it was, they'd never been a serial killer full stop in Mexico, never mind a serial killer that killed little old ladies. So it was, it was a huge thing. And anyway, he came home from work, luckily, it's a shame he didn't come home a little bit earlier, because he might have prevented poor Anna Maria from being unalived by this bitch. But he came home to see, he said a large woman in a red coat was leaving the address, and when he went in, he saw that Anna Maria had been strangled by a stethoscope. So he came running out, saw this, she was quite noticeable, so he could see her walking off. She didn't have any transport. She did all these murders walking around a neighborhood. This is what I can't believe. Honestly, if you see the police, see the documentary, and you see the police and how they patrolled all these streets. Oh, Magnicats. Thank you so much. Magnificats. The Magnificats. That sounds good. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. Oh, well, we know what we've got to do. Oh, gosh. What did I do with it? It was up there a minute ago. Okay, so we all want to welcome another one for the Mad Squad. Welcome to the family, Magnificats. I love that username, Magnificats. Yeah, really like that. Welcome to the family, and thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you. Everyone will be nice to you. We're all nice here, aren't we? So he saw this woman in the red coat walking down the road. He flagged down the police, just started shouting, "Stop her, stop her," and everything. And that day she was caught. And if we look at that photo, you can see, to me, the policeman's look. So she was trying to hide herself. This was the actual day that she got caught. Oh, that's the documentary. I was trying to show you the photo of the policeman. Look at the policeman's face. I bet he was terrified, because look at the size of her. Next to him, it was probably, oh my God. Anyway, that was it, finally. Now, the thing is, she still claims her innocence for a lot of them. I think she admitted to that last one, because she had to, because she was actually seen coming out of there. But there's a lot of them that she's not admitting to. But they stopped after that. So that's funny, isn't it? So as soon as she was arrested, there were no more little old ladies being murdered. But she's still saying she didn't do it. But anyway, so she's in prison. But what's she doing in prison? Oh, she's having quite a good time, to be honest, in prison. Because she has been working as a gym instructor in prison. I don't think I'd really like her instructing me in the gym. And she's been selling tacos in prison to earn money to send home for her family. Oh, because in the end she had five children? Just let me check. So the psychologist in the end said that she was a psychopath who showed no remorse, and she associated all those old ladies with her mother, and she said that she was helping society by killing them all. Okay, so what she would do would be she would pose as a government official for social welfare and get away into the houses by saying that she was going to help them out financially. Now, there was something else that I wanted to say about her children. How many? So, she had her first son with that guy who supposedly her mother sold her to. But she went on to have 4 children in total. And that first son, her firstborn son, to the guy that supposedly her mother sold her to, he actually died from injuries sustained in a mugging when he was a young adult. So he's no longer sort of with us. I don't know what the rest of the children make of it all. I don't know. Hi, Cheryl. Eleanor, you're back. You've not frozen out now. Yeah, don't be scared of everyone. So, what was I going to say then? So so while she's been in prison, she's been like a gym instructor. She's selling tacos to send to her family, and she also got married and divorced while she's been in prison. And bearing in mind, she's not been in prison that long yet, because it was, when was it? 2005. So in the 8 years that she's been in prison, oh no, it's 18 years. God, my maths is crap. Yes, it'd be 18 years she's been in prison. She got married, but she has since divorced. And she married, I'm going to show you the guy that she married. I'm going to show you an interview where they're talking. When I find it. Just got to close that up. Here it is. Now, they're speaking in Spanish, but I'm just going to tell you what they're saying. But this guy is a lot younger than her. To me, I think he's probably gay. I don't think he's this. I don't really understand why he married her. She's in prison for murdering 48 old ladies. And he's talking about her as if she's this fantastic person. But anyway, I'm going to show you the interview and I'll be able to tell you what they're saying. So they're celebrating their first year.
Soy Juana Barraza Samperio, tengo 57 años, originaria de Pasoyucan, Hidalgo, infelizmente casada. Mi nombre.
Said she was unhappily married. Wait, hang on. Pasoyucan, Hidalgo, infelizmente casada. I had
Soy Miguel Ángel Quiroz, soy de Veracruz, tengo 40 años, soy esposo de Juana Barraza Samper.
So he's 40. So he was 40. This was their first year wedding anniversary. Look at the visiting yard there in Mexico. It's all out in the open, like with. I suppose it'd have to be because it's hot, isn't it? I don't know, but it's like she doesn't seem to be under very strict security, does she? You know, I'm surprised she hasn't escaped. So everybody else seems to escape at the moment. So he's saying, I am the husband of Juana Barraza Samperio. I'm 40 years old. He said where he was from, which I missed, but it doesn't matter.
Felizmente casado. Tiene buenos sentimientos.
I am happily married, he said. I'm happily married. I have good feelings, although...
Que es un poquito dura, pero sí es una persona...
It's a little bit difficult. Es un poquito dura. It's a little bit difficult. I think it'd be quite difficult. But it says she is a person that...
Que ha cambiado mi vida.
She's a person that has changed my life. How will she have changed his life? I mean, she's in prison for a start. So she's a person that changed my life. We met. We met through letters and then afterwards over the telephone.
Teléfono. Muchas veces ellos piden favor de que alguna de las compañeras lleven la carta. Cuando uno dice, bueno, pues consígueme un amiguito.
Y hay una...
They're just saying they ask other people of how they got the letters to each other, etc. You know, I mean, I'm not really against the pen pals. I suppose they've got to do something while they're in prison. There's a lot of men there, isn't there? Look at are these all visiting their wives or whatever, or girlfriends?
Amigo aquí que su esposa de este señor la conocía a ella, la conoce.
All right, he said he's got a friend who the wife of this friend of his knew her.
Y le digo, oye, ¿por qué no le escribimos unas cartitas a Juana? Ya sabes, ¿no? Y la intención aquí siempre es de podernos llegar a ver aquí. Y las notitas.
So they got right into each other. I mean, it's funny because when I'm trying to translate it into English, you have to understand the way Spanish people speak. They go, well, they're not Spanish, but they're speaking in Spanish. They go all around the houses to say something. It's quite difficult sometimes to translate it, you know, just on the spot like this. So they started writing to each other, and in the end, they basically, what he's saying, started writing to each other. And then in the end, they got to this point, you know, that he could actually come and visit her.
De cariño, ¿no? Porque no podemos...
Yeah, and the notes turned to like love notes. So it started off as just friendship notes, and then they became love notes.
Decir de amor.
Because we couldn't talk about love. So there were notes about caring because we could not speak of love.
No hay un amor, ¿no?
Cuando él me dijo que siguiéramos, yo le dije que lo que quería era yo venir primero para conocerlo.
Right, so they got to a point where they were turning into sort of love notes. So she said to him, God, she looks scared. I'd be terrified of him if she was ever released. So she said to him that he needed to come and actually see her to meet him before she could start talking about love. Because they'd not met up to then. They'd only been writing letters to each other.
Pero allá me negaron la convivencia. Le dije, ¿por qué?
So they didn't give her the convivencia. That'll be like, you know, they may have, in Spain, you do get conjugal visits. I don't think they do that anywhere in Britain, do they? But in Spain, in the prisons, the wives, etc., get conjugal visits. So that might be what la convivencia is, because she said they denied me convivencia. And I said, why? Oh my God. They have like caravans on the prison sites where they get their conjugals.
Dice, porque no se puede. O te casas o no vas. Faltaban 8 días para la boda cuando yo ya no me quería casar. No lo conocía yo.
So what they said to us, you would have to get married, that you can't have the convivencia. That would be what it is. You can't get the conjugal rights unless you're married. You can't get it just for boyfriends or girlfriends. You have to actually be married. Well, that's what all them guys will have been there for, you know, for their conjugal visits with their wives.
Yo decía yo, oye, ¿cómo irá a ser? Híjole, y si no me agrada.
Yo ya la conocía por ya sabes, ¿no? Por los comerciales de la televisión, por su problema que tuvo. Miedo no, respeto más que nada.
So they must have asked him, aren't you scared? And he said, no, I'm not scared. I just respect, I just have respect for her.
Es una mujer fuerte, pero es linda también.
She's a strong woman, but she's pretty as well. You know, I think he should have gone to Specsavers.
Tiene sus detalles también, o sea, es muy detallista. No puedo decir que es mala conmigo, ¿no? Es muy buena.
So he says, I can't say that she's bad with me. She's good. She's really good. God, she looks terrifying. She's murdered 48 old women, strangled them. And in the documentary, at one point, she's showing the policeman how she strangled them. He looked terrified as well. This guy, what's up with him? So they've got married, they've had the conjugal rights, and then a year, well, I don't know how long after they've got divorced. They've been married for a year here. Gosh. Sorry, it's crazy, isn't it? So, you know, you wouldn't be worried then, would you? So you're in prison for 60 years, but it's all right. You get your conjugal rights, you get fed, you get looked after. I mean, God, you might as well be in prison as be outside, really, because they're all bloody poor in Mexico City.
Sí pasó la prueba. Si no estuviera aquí. Sí pasó la prueba que él, no, este hombre es un pan de Dios, Carácter yo.
As you're saying, this man, he said he wouldn't be here if he hadn't have passed the test. They must have asked her, did he pass the test? He said he wouldn't be here if he didn't pass the test. This man es un pan de Dios, so he's God's bread. His character is, so it's salt of the earth. That is more or less translates to, this guy is salt of the earth. In Spanish, they call it, he's a bread of God.
Porque así formé a mis hijos. Y algo sí les puedo decir, nunca les puse una mano encima a mis hijos, nunca, aunque yo fui una mujer maltratada. Aquí con este hombre no.
So she's saying, you know, although she was maltratada, I'm trying to think how to translate that. How do you say it in English? Mistreated and abused, as she was an abused child. She was an abused wife before. With this man, no.
Por eso cuando me casé con él, yo le puse reglas. Porque él me decía que a la lucha.
She said, when I married him, I put the rules down and I told him, dile a porque.
Ey, con la lucha y de mi trabajo de la lucha no te metas. Ahí sí no le digo, porque me debo al público y yo no soy.
Now she's talking about the wrestling and everything, but you know what, she said she was a wrestler, but what they're saying in that documentary, that nobody ever saw her fight, only dressing the costume, a bit like you, Chumba.
Soy grosera. Le dije, yo tengo educación.
So she's saying, I said, I am not a grosera, I'm not like, God, what would be an English word for that? Sometimes, yeah, I know what I want to say, but I can't think of the English word. No soy grosera. I'm not a pig, you know. I'm not like rude. I'm not ill-educated. I'm not been brought up badly. I'm just a murderer of 48 old ladies. But and I am educated, and it's not educated. I am polite. I am, you know, I know how to be civilized.
Aunque fui una mujer burra, ignorante, porque no sabía leer ni escribir. Aquí aprendí en Santa Marta. No es necesario ser agresiva, no es necesario ser grosera, porque eso sí, soy ruda y ya sabe que los rudos no nos medimos.
So I think what she's saying there is, and that's something she's learned in prison as well, to be a different person.
Pero es bonito estar dentro de la lucha libre. Pero ahorita con esta situación,
But she's going on
sí
about the
duele, porque ya no voy a
wrestling.
volver a luchar. Y ahorita menos me recogieron mi licencia. A principio era...
Ah, that's right. I know what she said. So she's saying that she wanted to do some wrestling in the prison. But of course, she lost it when she was convicted, like of murdering. I think she was convicted of 17 murders, but suspected of 48. They took away her wrestling license. Strange, that, isn't it? Anyway, she wanted to do some wrestling in prison, but they wouldn't give her a license back.
Daba clases de box, pero me lo prohibieron porque dicen...
Oh, and then she wanted to do boxing classes in prison, but they wouldn't let her do that either.
Yo siento que no, porque, y se los comprobé, es donde las muchachas sacan todo su estrés, donde si tienen ganas de drogarse.
So she's saying that it's a shame they didn't let her give classes of boxing, because this is how the women that are in there sort of get rid of their stress, and if they feel like taking drugs or whatever, if she could teach them boxing, that would help.
Pues no se drogan. ¿Por qué? Porque van a entrenar al box. Ahí sacan todo el estrés. Yo pienso que nunca he sido mala. Mi espíritu es...
Says that her spirit is free, so her body is there in the prison. Looks quite open there, doesn't it? Bloody hell. Not very good security, is it? Anyway, she says her spirit is free, although her body is in the prison, her spirit is free.
En la cárcel, pero mi espíritu está libre.
Que realmente no me ha importado por lo que digan que viene, porque pues yo pensaría lo contrario, aunque no tengo la certeza, ¿verdad? La amo mucho, la quiero mucho.
He looks terrified. Anyway, he said, oh, you know, we talk a lot and I love her a lot and I have no doubts about her whatsoever.
Qué bueno que llegó a mi vida. Realmente hemos vivido momentos muy agradables.
So we've had lovely moments together despite
de que estamos en este lugar.
Despite the fact that we're here in this place, we have lovely times together.
Hermosa. Buena pregunta. La contestación es, ¿y de qué me sirve la fama aquí? No lo hice. Y no me cansaré de repetirlo una y otra vez. No hice nada.
So she's still protesting her innocence, you know, except to that one that she actually got seen walking away from. She's still saying, no hice nada, I didn't do anything.
Me hubiera gustado haberlo hecho para haber dicho, bueno, pues ya lo hice, ¿no? Ya tengo. Pues hay que pagarlo.
So there, and in fact, she said, I can't have done it because the women were violated, raped, but they weren't. They weren't raped. But that's something she said often. Oh no, you know. Right, what have I missed? Yeah, he looks scary as well. Well, I don't know, Eleanor. We'll have to talk about that another time. We'll talk about this tonight. So there you go. That's Juana Barraza, La Dama del Silencio, the woman of silence. That was her wrestling nickname, if she ever did do any wrestling. And her serial killer nickname is Mata Villaquitas, the little old lady killer. And I think she is the only serial killer that Mexico has ever had. And she's certainly the only female serial killer. Well, and she's joined this sort of elite club of female serial killers. There's about 5, isn't there? There's not many. you know what, it just shows you, you know, unfortunately women can be just as cold, you know. It's, as a woman, I find that hard to imagine a woman murdering all those little old, you know, vulnerable, such vulnerable people and poor, you know, playing on the fact that they are poor, you know. They're people from her environment, do you know what I mean? They're people that she's put, you know, she should be identifying with them, you know, like, and trying to help them, not bloody murdering them and stealing their purses, you know. So bad. Yeah. Well, that exactly, Stuart. Yeah, the serial killings all stopped. There haven't been any since. So that tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it, really? You catch a serial killer, put them in prison, and the killings stop. I think you can pretty much assume that you've got the right person. Yeah, no remorse whatsoever. You know, still protecting. Oh, I think she's just contemptuous. Let's just have another, you know, I tried to find like pictures of her victims. But unfortunately, the only pictures I found of her victims, as I say, very graphic. The Mexican, you know, showing pictures of these poor women, like their bodies and everything. So it was horrible, to be honest. But look at this. Just look at that. Terrifying. Yeah. But yeah, if you get her, so I presume, is this her now? No, that's somebody else, isn't it? This is her. This was her behind bars. She had, you see, she changes her appearance quite a lot. She looks different in every photo. In some ways, she's like Ted Bundy, like that. She looks completely different in every photo that you see of her. See how they paraded her in front of everyone. It's very straight. It's really interesting to watch the documentary and see how they treat prisoners so differently, you know. And you saw her there. She was sat out there with the husband. It all looked very open. Yeah, very cold, nasty. Look, there's the eyes there. You can see it. That's my theory, that all these murderers, they have these weird eyes, like they're like two people. One eye's one way. And, you know, I have that theory, and they all look like that. Yeah. But yes, so if you get a chance to watch the documentary on Netflix, I would recommend it. It's very interesting. Yeah, you wouldn't want to bump into, yeah, Rio, you wouldn't have wanted to bump into her when you were walking your dog, would you? Very cold. Yeah, those poor old ladies. I mean, just how could you do it? I mean, so, you know, some of them were in their 80s. You know, you just can't get your head around it, can you? How anyone can hurt anybody else? Well, I think most of us can understand that, you know, when tempers flare and people get angry, they can do things in the heat of a moment. But to actually plan something like that, you know, to deliberately, she must watch them women to find out that where they lived on their own, when they'd be in the house on their own. She planned it all. It was all in her local neighborhood. You know, it's a very concentrated neighborhood, you know, and all local. She must have watched them. To see, you know, you're not just going to, unless she just went from door to door knocking on doors until she found a suitable one. I don't know, but very nasty person. That's what I think, Jackie. I've got this theory. When you see, you look at most serial killers, look at Ted Bundy, if you look at his eyes, A lot of them, they've got this sort of, maybe it is a split personality, or maybe it's something wrong with the brain. Oh, a very evil GP. Oh, bless. It's called The Lady of Silence, Desi. If you look at the video, those pictures I was showing, it was all the Netflix trailers. It's called The Lady of Silence, or La Dama del Silencio. And she's still in prison. She won't come out of prison, Stuart. She's got prison 60 years. She got God, hundreds of years of prison, but she can only serve 60 years maximum. But she was in her 50s when she went in there, so she's got to serve 60 years, and she'll be about 110. Yeah, she's not coming out. She's not coming out. Okay, so have you all liked the video? Hope you have. Yeah, I think it is. Anyway, I wonder if I can show you this picture. Bit naughty, really. See if I can show you this. Yeah, a bit like this. The eyes, little bit like that. Okay, so it's an interesting case. I know it's a bit naughty that. I shouldn't have done that, but it's true. I think it's part of the reason I can't sort of get past it, because of the eyes. But yeah, something about the eyes. Something about the eyes. I know I'm going to have to probably cut that off the end, aren't I? Okay, look, thanks ever so much for being here. As you know, I'll be back for members. Thank you to those of you that joined as well tonight. Thank you. New members, look, my voice is going up. I'm going to have a day off, I think, tomorrow. So, though I'll probably end up doing a video at some point. There's always something to do a video about. And Rio, thank you so much, especially. Eleanor, thank you so much for my Irish coffee. That was very kind of you. And yeah, remember to always live and love carefully. Watch out for wrestlers in masks, female wrestlers. I mean, it's it just shows you that what I think is the human condition. Do you know, like I know most humans are good. They really are, because most humans would be outraged by these kind of things. These are a very small percentage of people. But, it does make you realise that the human condition, if you like, as human beings, are complex, very complex, aren't they? I know, Saskia, I agree. Yeah, I shouldn't do that. That's naughty. So I just want to show you one more time my little white feather that I found outside. I'm going to keep that. I'm really pleased with that, because, after all the things, I'm not doing paranormal for a while. It was just too many things were happening, but I feel good now. I've got my white feather. So until I see you again, remember to live and love carefully, and may your God go with you. And Saskia, I'll look for your email in the morning. Thank you. Night, night.